Today marks 1295th day sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with all of you. My hope is that it will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and will empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today, we speak about negative emotions. Emotion regulation is probably one of the key aspects of succeeding in life, and I think that understanding where those negative emotions are coming from is the key to success. Now, we're not able to be 100% always positive emotions. There's, of course, some people have like 10% negative emotions, some people have 90%. And being able to really understand where those emotions are coming from and really how to really transition into more positive, uplifting emotions, I think is very important. I think that the main reason why people stuck in negative emotions because they trying to fix those negative emotions with the wrong idea, with the wrong thing. So today we'll focus on what are the reasons potentially those deeper level reasons might be that we do not have positive emotions. So number one is that unmet core needs, psychological, emotional. That means that we need to look into, okay, look, what are my needs? What are my really true desires? It might be significance, it could be certainty, it could be clarity, it could be connection. So when you think about yourself, again, this is a part of being aware of yourself and being able to really work very hard on reflecting, journaling, being able to be present, mindful, understanding who you are and who you want to be, and what kind of needs do you have. Because you understand that every single person is different. One person wants a lot of connection, another other person wants a little bit more solitude. And it's one interesting thing that solitude could be a need as well. Solitude, it might be that you don't have enough solitude, and that's of course a struggle. You have anxiety, you're not able to really have clear mind because you're lacking your need. So that means it's very, very important to understand, okay, like where's those negative emotions coming from? Maybe I'm neglecting one of my needs. It could be significance, maybe contribution. What are those needs that you really have true desire in your heart, and if you're not able to truly make them? Because I think that a lot of times it just feels anger, anxiety, all those other sadness, numbness, with understanding why is that. Number two is that suppressed identity or values conflict. So it might be that you see yourself in one way, but you're acting in a different way. I think it's very, very common. Sometimes we just do not know who we are yet, or sometimes we do not know what kind of core values we value the most. And I think that it really we become very rigid, and there's a lot of negative emotions, and really is very hard to understand that. And again, this is one of the key aspects of being aware, really constantly reflecting, hey, what are my values? And then asking the question, okay, so if my values those, how I'm living those values? And what do I do on a daily basis? Because sometimes when you start to see that, okay, this is my value, but this is my actions, and there's a massive misalignment. And there's a massive misalignment, and that's a lot of times it's subconscious that leads to negative emotions. When we start, okay, like and I think that a lot of times it could happen in work environment. You want one thing, but you do other thing because of course we sell ourselves for the paycheck. So being able to understand, okay, what are my core values? Who am I? And what is in alignment with me? I think it's very, very important. Because you need to act in according of authentic self. And if we acting not in authentic self, we start to feel drained, fatigued, maybe burnout, because when you constantly wearing the mask, that is not helping us. Number three is on unprocessed past experiences. I think that there's two types of people. One, people who really go through the pain, they cry, they suffer, they share the pain. Another people who deny that, and they say that nothing happened, it's just not too bad. I think that people who really show their pain, they will be more joyful because they're able to really allow that pain to go through. Because a lot of times, I really love the one person who mentioned said that when someone did something bad to you, rather than forgiving them, really go and feel full anger. Allow that emotion go through you. Because when you allow that emotion to accept that emotion, go through that, you're able to let it go. But I think that the most difficult thing is when we want to deny that it didn't happen or is not as painful as it is. And because we deny it, we keep it almost for the rest of our life. So being able to accept it is allowing you to release it. Deny it, and you can keep it for the rest of your life. And I think that's a lot of times those suppressed emotions leads to sicknesses, because I truly believe that emotions and body are intertwined. So all the suppressed things potentially could lead to the wrong things in the health as well. Number four is internalized beliefs or narratives or stories that are tell to ourselves. I'm not good enough. The world is unsafe. The world is risky. And I think that those are really stories that we tell ourselves that really lead to negative emotions. Those are downgrading thoughts, downgrading emotions. Like if I'm not enough, of course, that means I'm not able to take action. If I'm not able to take action, that means I stay in bed or don't do anything for a longer time. And because I don't do anything, I don't get results. Because I don't get results, I feel sad. And because I feel sad, I feel even more not enough. So that means there's a massive cycle. And every single person who really wants to achieve massive success needs to break cycles and really build cycles that uplifting cycles. That I'm great at something. That means I'm taking actions. Those actions lead to results. Those results leads to belief. That belief leads to more action. That more action leads to more results. And those results leads to really joyful and purposeful emotions. It's very, very important to really catch ourselves what our beliefs are and really catch what that belief, what kind of belief is creating what kind of cycle. Because we want to really break those negative cycles and really build those positive cycles, because you are in one way or another, you are in a cycle. And if you're not in a positive cycle, that means that you are in a negative cycle, and being able to break it is not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth to really work on that. Number five is lack of purpose and growth. And I think that this is one of the most common one, lack of purpose and growth. Then being able to really improve yourself, grow yourself. And I truly believe in incremental improvements. I think that every single person wants to see massive, significant changes. But when you really start focusing on micro changes, micro improvements, incremental improvements, I think that at that moment you're able to really start to see that, oh, that the purpose, the growth is not that far away. Because when you have a purpose, that growth becomes more meaningful. When you have a direction, that growth becomes more meaningful. When you have a vision, that purpose and growth becomes more meaningful. And of course, when you have a purpose and growth, you are coming with much more positive emotions. Because meaning and joy, all those coming from purpose and growth. Because for me, at least, growth is one of the most important emotions. When I feel that I learned something today, I feel that it's I want to go to sleep because I'm ready for tomorrow to execute on that. But if I didn't learn, it seems that I'm lacking something in my life. And I think that that's exactly what a lot of people feel, is some kind of lack. And I think that lack is the purpose and growth. Number six is energetic or psychological imbalance. It might be that we really didn't take care of ourselves. And that means that we didn't care of our bodies, we didn't take care of our emotions, we didn't care of our mental energy, nothing. If we didn't take care of ourselves, of course we have negative emotions. So that means that sometimes when if you don't feel right, we need to ask ourselves, how is my energy? That means, did I take care of my body? Did I exercise? Did I eat healthy? Did I really read books? Did I really nurture my mind? Because sometimes we feel emotions, negative emotions, because negative emotions are coming automatic. Manual emotions, positive emotions are manual. So it means you need to put in, you need to nurture yourself. So knowing that if you do not nurture your body, do not nurture your mind, do not nurture your soul, at some point, you will start to feel more negative emotions than positive. So we need to be intentional about building energy, emotional energy, physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy. All of the energies need to be intentional to really make sure that we do not feel those negative emotions. Number seven is overexposure to modern stressors. And that means that digital input, social comparison. I think that sometimes when we feel anxiety, when we feel that we're not doing well, Compared to what? Compared to what? Because at that moment we start to see that, okay, I compare myself with other people who are on social media, who are putting 1% of actual their life, and we start to really compare our 100% to their 1%, and of course that is not comparable. And being able to really, at that moment, if you don't feel um, right emotionally, I think that's the most important part, is really being able to really remove from all the social media, from all the um, external stimulus, to make sure that we're able to go inwards. And sometimes that a need is connection, to really go and in person to connect with people, not online. And number 8 is unexpressed truth. That means that maybe you live a life with people that you would love to express something, some kind of truth. Maybe there's something that you are putting mask for so long, and you realize it. And it might be that you were wearing that mask because you were protecting yourself, but now you grew so much that you don't need to wear that mask anymore. But you are afraid to express who you truly are because you were that kind of pretending person, not for the bad reason, because you just were growing and you overgrew that. But now you are struggling to express new you because you are afraid to be rejected. It could be so many examples of things that you want to express to other people, but you're just afraid to express. And I think that's, again, that could potentially lead to massive, sad, negative emotions. And being able to really, and again, this is one thing that one short term and difficult conversation could lead long term success. But for some reason, we are afraid that short term and allow ourselves to put ourselves in that long term suffering. It is what it is, but I think that we need to really work very hard to really understand, okay, what is more important, short term or long term? When we understand that long term is more important, we start to act we start doing things that is for the short term looks terrible, but the long term looks great. So I hope you reflect as well. When do you feel negative emotions? And again, this is one thing that we need to understand. If you feel negative emotion, there is something behind it. And maybe I'm hungry, maybe I'm tired. Those could be as well, just simple reasons. And not really digging into that. But if you start to feel it 2 days in a row, you feel some kind of negative emotion, and then I started looking into all the things that I mentioned, just to see that maybe there's something that I could really go deeper to cover that, just to make sure that I have that 80-90% of the time, 100% of the time, those positive emotions. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.